everybody, welcome to Let's Play Combat Mission Barbarossa to Berlin. So the sniper on that church, he climbed up the stairs and then was able to find with his eagle eyes or scope the light gun hidden among the trees. And I think the light gun was waiting for the tank to rumble toward it on the right side, because I guess the right side doesn't have trees or obstacles like a wire fence or trenches and stuff like that. So then I guess he was betting on the tank coming down on the right side, but luckily enough for us, the tank I sent toward the middle to support the troops now bursting at the seams here, because there are a lot of troops here in the houses and the church and the little scattered trees outside of the church. Yeah, so he missed it, and I think that is a one stroke of luck that we really needed after suffering through some bad artillery spotting and some bad deals here on the left side. We tried to probe the defenses here, but was beaten back pretty soundly by the Russians, who were able to just artillery stomp it. And so we had to go back and then regroup there, but we're still able to fight. We still have ammo. So yeah, here we are trying to enter into the trench that we just found, but unfortunately it was a trench made for defensive purpose, not offensive purpose. The Russians pretty smart, because some of the trenches that we can use for offensive purpose, but not here, because we are shooting upwards up the slope, so I guess the line of sight is not there. But we have to enter there because we want to save the soldiers from exhaustion. On the right side, as you can see, we have a lot of troops on the right side. Now being used as a decoy for the light gun so that it doesn't aim at any of our guys in the middle. And you can also see that there's some substantial amount of group of soldiers in the middle as well, which is going to be our main focus this episode. And yeah, you can see they're about to move outside of the church, and the sniper probably is going to be brought back to support the guys in the middle, because the light gun, for all intents and purposes, now not useless. Can only target the guys on the right side, not the tank. Maybe can still attack the tank, but I don't know. We are gonna let it by shooting at it from the right side as much as possible. So obviously this is a road that we have to take, and we have some stars indicating that this is the last known positions of the Russian soldiers. Of course they might still be there, because some of them are prone and possibly shaken or hidden so that they can ambush us. And this is the plan. Yeah, the plan. So move in the middle, move up in the middle, all of them running, advancing, all of them except for the sniper and some machine gunners. On the right side, we are shooting at the light gun to distract it and to get pummeled. And here we're also moving on to join the trench guys, and here we are moving out of the trench to see whether we can use a cemetery as a a cover, desecrating the cemetery. Here we have a lot of men. Some of them are pretty veteran units, very highly skilled, so that we are moving them outside of the church. Yeah, so time for prayer is over. It's now to make good on the promise of those prayers. Anyways, we are moving these guys up, really running. I think the house is going to be used as some kind of a cover so that they don't get straight by this machine gunner. And you can see there are 2 machine gunners in that objective house. So it's going to be a tall order to get them off our backs. So we are using all these guys to aim at one of them, at least, so that they don't move their positions or turn around toward the middle and maybe knock out that tank, because the tank is rather light. The T-26, and I think it probably can get destroyed by focused machine gun fire. Alright, so the Russians are running, possibly converging in the middle to protect the defense there, and we're shooting at them like there's no tomorrow. I mean, they're really fierce fighters. I don't know whether it is actually doing anything, because these guys are now just slowly turning and then firing on the right side. Thankfully not in the middle. So yeah, we are starting out. We can hear some artillery in the background. Oh, there is that artillery spotting. Very interesting. Not in the middle, but on the right side. I guess they're kind of afraid that we're going to collapse onto the middle. So they are just doing a preliminary attack to dissuade us from running them down. And yeah, we are basically targeting on the right side toward the light gun. The light gun is actually aiming at one of the soldiers. I don't know whether it's actually shooting at it. And here the advanced party made it to the scattered trees, thankfully, without getting shot. So they're rather safe. I guess they have a good chance of defending themselves and not get caught, suffer disastrous losses. And here we find the first defender just popping his head outside the window, and we find them. That's really fortunate. These guys are probably regular experience, and they probably practice a lot of those running and throwing grenades at the same time pretty accurately. Yeah, they're basically bombers. They're really good at it. And we find some mortar somewhere. They're actually popping up some mortar for their positions here because they're afraid that we're amassing the troops on the right side as well. And then they're still rather afraid that we're going to use the right side to attack the objective. It makes sense because you can still run into open space and then toward the middle, but I mean, this is going to be the road that we take right there. Yeah, with a lot of movement, a lot of advances now. So the gist of it is we're going to try to take over the road, both sides of the road, using the scattered trees to advance. One side each, while the other side is going to cover for it. And we have still, I mean, we have plenty of targets to aim our fire. For this turn, it's going to be that guy in the house who's basically suppressed, and I think it's going to be routed because, I mean, this amount of fire with grenades, yeah, I think it's not going to really withstand those. And a lot of arc of fires, crisscrossing, overlapping, so that we are able to bring some suppression fire, and then perhaps drive these guys out. We don't want them slinking around and shooting us in the back while we are very busy trying to advance. Yeah, we are able to finally drive them back, and they catch the attention or interest of the tank here, also advancing. Okay, so that guy was eliminated before the tank can do anything, so he can just go undisturbed and spearhead our advance still. Alright, so another Russian guy suppressed and eliminated, and this guy was the artillery spotter, which really caused a lot of us harm in the second episode, so good riddance. Yeah, it was very accurate shooting too, very accurate spotting. And yeah, so the Finnish soldiers out of the trench, running toward whatever was them. Okay, so the tank is actually, I don't know what got it so interested, so that it's turning its turret back from the machine gun, but obviously it's very interested. Oh, okay, so it was merely trying to protect itself from the anti-tank fire. I don't know exactly what he fired is, but obviously it's very worried that it's turning the heaviest armor toward it. It's pretty smart doing that. And this guy got damaged from some unknown source. Oh, from the back, so he got shot in the back. Yeah, we gotta be careful. That's going to be where most of the damage is going to come from. And here, this guy is able to evade 2 shots from the long gun. He's merely alerted. Yeah, some balls on him. Anyways, you can see the arc of fire just crisscrossing, so I just disabled it. Just so crazy. And then this is the plan for the next turn, still moving up on both sides of the road. Very frenetic pace. I don't know whether we can make it though. And we found this guy shooting at another advance, so we need to really be on our guard on the right side as well. So it's going to be still very involved. They're not going to be just sitting around doing nothing. They're going to be actively looking at any of these guys on the side and then suppressing it. They still have a lot of ammo. And the tank really have to turn once again toward the objective house and then continue its spearhead. And while we are just trying to be very wary of the other last known positions of the Soviet defenders on the side. On the left side, there are two known positions there, so we need to be very vigilant about those. But we have to just advance. There's really no time for dawdle. Yeah, just have to keep moving, keep the pressure up. I mean, this was like last 5 turns, and then I saved up all the morale, I saved all the men, and just putting everybody into the grinder. And hopefully it's going to act as a shock force to, you know, drive and rout any of the defenders that we face on our way, and perhaps good things might happen. Alright, so tank resumes targeting the objective house, thankfully. And once again, we target these guys from the side so that they don't attack us. And yeah, still moving up pretty fast, especially the infantry leaders. They're able to really move up very quickly. And these guys, advanced parties, still running and throwing grenade very accurately. Yeah, that's really good. That's really something that I didn't expect. This kind of skill. Yeah, once again, pretty accurate, routing them and then driving them away from the line of sight. I got shot? Yeah, from the side, I think. You need to be very careful, but yeah, pretty promising charges. And here as well, we are charging toward some, I think it's a mortar crew. And this guy charges into the trench to be protected and to perhaps also protect our left side of advance. Yeah, so we are advancing pretty quickly toward the machine gun, around 45 meters out. It's really close. It's almost close enough to maybe strip away that controlled objective from the Soviets, but still in Soviet hands. Yeah, so we found the machine gun on the left side. All the advanced squads got injured because of the machine gun opening up on them. So we are obviously bringing down the suppression fire and rushing at the same time. And some of these guys in the back are providing some fire, but I don't know whether that's going to be enough to really dry them out. Next turn we are moving still, only 2 turns left. These guys on the right side are trying to still distract the defense from converging in the middle in the last ditch attempt to counterattack. So you're basically advancing inside the house in order to just get the machine gun. I'm that desperate in order to, you know, prepare the way for the last turn of rushing and dashing. It's just really I mean, this is not, I mean, if I didn't have the tank, this wouldn't have been possible. But luckily I was able to save up the tank, and the tank was able to go through some very interesting situations, like anti-tank fire. It could have been easily been disabled or immobilized, but was able to pull through still. So the tank has been very useful. MVP of this episode, of this whole scenario. So these are the 2 leaders, shooting very accurately, pistol fire though, so not really that powerful in terms of offensive. But you know, they can make up for that using their legs, trying to just cover the space and then the line of sight, and then maybe scare the Russian defenders away so that they get routed by the other troops following them. But they're leading by example. Finally, I get to have some leaders that lead by example and then really taking the initiative. The sniper really do not do anything because the line of sight is not there, simply it's unfortunate. But yeah, I think it was helpful in identifying certain troops. Okay, so the ambush is happening. Unfortunately, the advanced group of these running Finnish soldiers got clipped. But thankfully, the guys who were following it was able to bring down suppressed fire so that it doesn't damage further. Molotov cocktail, pretty cool, but I don't think it phased the tank at all. It's kind of got warm, but I think the Finnish are rather used to warm weathers in the summers, so no problems there. Okay, so we are set. We are basically at the edge of the cover on the boulevard. And we need to really take the initiative and just rush forward without any question. It's time to just, yeah, spend all our resources in order to do a mad dash. So in the cemetery, I mean, interestingly enough, the cemetery is actually different terrain from open field, so I guess it gives a bit of a cover. thanks to the tombstones and other obstacles, I don't know, stone masonry that able to take cover behind it. And this is actually the Russian border. Yeah, so we targeted it pretty well, blasted it with grenade. Now we are, I guess, I don't know, we can probably mop up there. Yeah, and then try to view what is up ahead. Anything troubling, probably in the last turn, I'm not so sure. I don't think I can find anybody, you know, anything that is in particular out of place. Alright, so 25, and you can see that, yeah, we have taken the objective house. So I just put up the Finnish flag because the scenario designer, I guess they just wanted to state default access or something. Anyways, yeah, so we took the house, but objective house, but I don't think that's actually, you know, it is prone to be very inaccurate. And yeah, I've been burned by it, I think, once or twice because I thought that it took the objective, but it wasn't actually under our control at all, you know, although it seemed like we got it. So we need to really make sure that we put a stamp on it, and we are basically rushing using like 5 different troops in order to really be sure that we control the objective, or at least make it contention, so that we make the scores at least close. And we are basically firing at all targets, and then we are rushing at the objective house. And this is kind of a gamble that really doesn't work sometimes. It can really blow up in our face if it doesn't really go our way. But you know, we have a lot of veteran troops, so that I really trust that things will happen in our favor. But then the Russians actually converging in the middle, trying to protect this objective house, counter-attacking and perhaps trying to hold it out. And these guys are making a red dash. It's like Usain Bolt. 50 meters in like 5 seconds. That's crazy. And this officer is able to use a pistol to scare away a couple of Russian units. Yeah, my goodness, he has some nose for rooting out these defenders in the house. And okay, so the Russian machine gun is actually shooting through the floor, aiming at one of the other leader units that actually got inside the house, HQ unit. And yeah, that guy got shaken. And this tank is also shaken because he was able to see some anti-tanking into the map. So he basically crashes into the house or something, and then yeah, and basically that's the end of it. And grenades to go by and then try to really take the house, take the objective. But they wasn't able to drive the machine gun out. A major victory. So the flag's held. I mean, I guess it was still in contention, so no points to either Axis or Allies. We were basically fighting for it, so nobody controlled it. Yeah, I mean, the flag was basically, once again, not that accurate. We didn't really have any control, maybe because a tank ran away from it. So the infantry was able to at least make it work in our favor. Because without infantry inside the objective house, the tank was not anywhere close to it, so it could have been still in Soviet hands. I think that 2 leader units really were instrumental in securing the victory for us. Not all of the units made it to the house, some of them got clipped or got shot, and they were, yeah, driven back. But overall, you know, a lot of different troops were really rushing in the entirety of the episode to produce that shock effect. And the Russians had like 36% or 27% morale, so they were very prone to be routed and run away. So I think we saw that happen a lot in this episode. If they had some more morale, then they could have definitely held some of the houses. Alright, so on the right side, along with the light gun, there were actually minefield here, so I mean, I could have used a tank to maybe drive through this rather flat land. Maybe trying to take advantage of this flank the Russian defense in the road to Viipuri, but I don't think it would have really worked out because not only the light gun was aiming squarely directly at the right side, but also there were some minefields. So yeah, that was pretty crazy. I don't know whether it was anti-personnel minefield, but probably would not have been a good choice to drive through the right. Yeah, just checking out the Soviet units, and they're mostly routed and pinned. And some of the regular troops are still there inside, entrenched in some of the houses. And some highly valued or highly skilled Soviet units, like here, for example, some of the HQ units are still there, maybe poised to counterattack. Some green units are also there for the Soviets, so it was kind of a mix of regular and green troops, just like the Finnish troops that were involved in this battle. Yeah. And you can say that this guy was ready to actually counterattack, but was too late. And the anti-tank rifle on the edge of the map scared the tank, really scared the tank. And was also able to cause one infantry casualty, I don't know from where, but yeah, it really got a scare into this tank. But otherwise, this unit was very instrumental, very helpful in spearheading the charge. And so are these two units. Yeah, so they were able to really put a finishing touch on the operation and ensure the major victory for us. Yeah, very good episode. It was one of the victories, few victories that I had in Barbarossa, Berlin. I find Eastern Front battles are really, it's a kind of a whole new different ball game. I don't know whether it'll be different when I get to control more tanks and whatnot. So that was Retaking Viipuri. Really enjoyed this scenario for the amount of drama that it created, and it was pretty exciting until the very last moment. So I hope you enjoyed it too. So I come back with another battle, another scenario on the Soviet side. But if you like to see German side, please tell me, because this was a Finnish scenario, so it was a bit different. Well, they were part of the Axis. Once again, thank you for watching. Until next time, please stay tuned.